Well, hello, this is old man Tony here again. Hope you're well on this lovely summer evening with the grey cloud overhead but the sun shining and we're back. In the last vlog I mentioned when I was working and I was involved with developing biofuels projects. Well, that's one of the successful things I did do in my career. Involved in persuading the government to support biofuels and persuading the company I work for to build a big bioethanol plant. When I say big, I'm talking about 50 or 60,000 tonnes of bioethanol a year from fermenting the sugar-rich juices that were really a waste stream from a sugar factory. You can't economically extract the sugar out anymore, but you can ferment it to make alcohol and get some useful product out of it. Well, that's what I did, but at the same time, a colleague and I decided to have some fun promoting it. We didn't get any support from the company. We basically put the money in ourselves and we went motorbike racing. And because we were trying to promote biofuels, we decided to run a motorbike on bioethanol. So we entered a championship. And the easiest championship for us to enter was a club championship. And it's for the BMC club in the UK, which is basically club racing at all levels, and we entered the Mini Twins Championship. I think I put the wrong teeth into that. Yeah, so we entered the Mini Twins Championship, and just about every bike that was running in the Mini Twins Championship was a Suzuki SV650. So the rules of the Mini Twins Championship were that you could basically improve the bike to some extent. You could put a new shock on it, new exhaust, but you basically had to run an unaltered engine. And you had to buy pump fuel to put in it, and there was a horsepower limit of 72 brake horsepower for the championship. Well, we don't like to do things easily, so we decided to go with an old Laverda from the 90s, a Laverda 650 Formula, which was a parallel twin engine, different from the Suzuki SV650 Mini Twins, in that they're a V-twin, and they're liquid cooled and our bike was air cooled. But it was fuel injected, so it was reasonably easy to change the engine to suit the fuel. So we found our bike, we found a championship, we just needed one more thing, we needed the fuel. Now, at the same time as we were doing all this work with biofuels and producing and that sort of thing, Morrison's, the supermarket chain in the UK, started selling something that they'll know about in the States, a fuel called E85. Now E85 is 85% ethanol and 15% petrol or gasoline. And they started selling it on some of the forecourts. Only like half a dozen in the UK, but luckily One of them was near me in Norfolk. So we've got access to the fuel now. And we had to modify the bike to be able to run on that fuel. And we were only allowed to change the fueling really. We couldn't change the ignition according to the rules, but we could add a power commander to the bike, which as I said was fuel injected, and alter the fueling to suit the E85 fuel. So now we've got the bike, the fuel championship, just needed a rider. And my colleague, who was really the owner of the team, I was more of a helper. I didn't put so much money into it as him. He bought the bikes and everything else. He knew someone from the past who used to race in reasonably high, I think, but never in national championships. It was more in the top level club championships. And he was willing to come on board as our rider. And we entered the championship. And we did reasonably well, considering the Laverda was down on power compared to the Suzuki's, and there was nothing we could do about it that was legal under the rules. But I think we still got a third place because we had a decent rider, and if the conditions were right for the bike, then we could do reasonably well. But then when we looked at the rules carefully, we discovered something else about the rules, that if we were air-cooled, we were allowed to go up to 802 cc's air-cooled. Still had to be a twin. So my friend went out and acquired a Ducati SS800, and that power level on that was matching more the Suzuki's. So we started running that in the championship, and we had a bit more success. We had a few wins. And at the end of the year, well, it wasn't the end of the first year because we didn't do a full championship the first year, but at the end of the second year, we came third in the championship, which we just matched what we were trying to aim for, getting a bit of publicity. We even managed to get a bit of sponsorship for a couple of rounds that paid for the tyres and maybe the entry fee, but not much else. So we didn't get rich on that. But one of the byproducts of doing that championship is there was a group of people at Santa Pod Raceway, which is a drag racing strip in the middle of the UK. They were running an annual event called Energy Efficient Racing, I think it was called, and it was for people running electric bikes and renewable fuels, and it was bikes, cars, trucks, anything really that ran on a so-called renewable or clean fuel. So we entered into that, and the great thing was I got a chance to have a go. So that is my only experience of actually racing myself. I was up the drag strip at Santa Pod, and when it came to my turn, I had a couple of runs practice up the strip, and then I had to go in earnest for a race, and they pitted me against an electric motorbike from one of the universities, which is quite good. Electric bikes accelerate fairly well, they don't have to change gear. But when I lined up with this electric bike on the line, I was feeling quite nervous. But, so we lined up, got the lights all right, and when the light went green or whatever it was, I can't actually remember, I think it goes green, set off like a bat out of hell. And the front wheel came off the ground, but not by very much, just a few inches, and away I went, and I actually annihilated this electric bike. Still about 13-second quarter mile, but I was reasonably happy with that. And that was on the Laverda, not the Ducati. 65 horsepower Laverda, running on biofuel, completely electric bike, and it was great fun. So in the first year we entered that, we had the best time for a biofuel vehicle. Any other bikes, cars, trucks, all the rest, we beat them. But in the second year, a few of the bike magazines got wise to what was going on. So they brought a Triumph Speed Triple and ran that, which annihilated us, of course. And then somebody had an idea with a magazine to run a ZZR 1400. And they did a sub 10-second quarter, which was not something we could match. But all in all, I had great fun getting involved with the racing. Didn't go down with the wife when I was away from home every other weekend, staying at some track or other around the country. But nonetheless, it was good fun. Whether I'll get involved in anything else like that again in the future, I don't know, but my friend was talking about us having a bit of a get-together and doing just one more race just for a bit of fun, but I haven't heard from him so far this year, so I guess it's not going to happen. This was something we talked about, well, I think it was towards the end of last year. Our rider is actually one of the mechanics for Alex Lowe's, or is it Sam Lowe's? I can't remember which of the Lowe's twins it is, the one that's racing in Yamaha in the World Superbikes. So he doesn't get a lot of time off free, so it just may not have happened that it's come all through together. But still quite a few months left of the season, so you never know. So that has been my involvement in racing. I found it good fun. So if you want to know anything more about the racing that we did, please leave a comment below. I'll do my best to answer it. I do answer all my comments. And if you enjoyed what you've heard today, please subscribe. I do like subscribers because they show that it's worth coming back, and I'm not terribly awful and didn't put them off the first time. So thanks very much for watching. This has been Old Man Tony. Goodbye.